Hello, everybody, and welcome back once again to Goonies World. I am Meanie, also known as Ryan, and I am joined once again by Lunicorn, also known as Lynn.
Hello.
Johnny Farrow, also known as Sean.
Hey, everybody.
And, of course, it wouldn't be Goonies World without Goonie, also known as Colin.
Hello, everybody.
And we're jumping right back into some Electric Bastionland.
Yes, we're in our final episode for now of our journeys deeper into the odd with Electric Bastionland. It's a game by Chris McDowell that's actually sort of an extension of and clarification of ideas in Into the Odd, a game of which I am very fond. And for this series, we've also used material from adventures written for Troika, which I think blends nicely with Electric Bastionland. So we've included parts of The Slow Sleigh to Plankton Downs by Ezra Clavery and Fronds of Benevolence by Andrew Walter, and just a bit of Acid Death Fantasy by Luke Gearing, and as usual, a lot of stuff that I made up. And we won't bother you with a lengthy recap, but our heroes have journeyed far from the city of Bastion in search of the treasure of the late famed explorer Percy Butterworth, which they hope to find before their rival, the crypto historian Ronan Friendly, does. And after many trials and tribulations, our heroes Lump, Clancy, and Silix finally reach the hydroponic farming community of Plankton Downs and learn that Butterworth's treasure was stored in a tower in the empty city not far from there. It was once an alien city, they learned, and although all the aliens supposedly abandoned the place long ago, Butterworth was said to have been killed by a glorious alien, whatever that means. The city's also rumored to be the domain of Degenerates, who prowl the ruins. But after a rest and some healing plankton drank in Plankton Downs, you now leave the sparse forest of blue oak trees, and you can see the architectural skeleton of the empty city on the horizon within just an hour or so's walk. It's nestled in a low valley, and beyond it, even further south of that, there's a huge wall of glaciers, because you're pretty far south, and the air is crisp and cool here. But aside from a mild outdoor ambience, the silence is almost deafening here as you enter the outskirts of the empty city. And it's quite expansive. There's once proud-looking amber-colored buildings, and some of them are also colored lime green. They're hexagonal for the most part, but a lot of them are like crumbled and tilted over. And in fact, even the street underneath you, the broken paving and cobbles, almost seem to groan a little bit under your feet. Like the whole thing seems like it's going to collapse. And the atmosphere of loss is very overpowering, so much so in fact that all of you make a luck roll or you're going to lose a point of charisma for the rest of the session. It's just so overpowering, at least while you're here. Not that losing a point of charisma is the most terrible thing in the world. In a luck roll, you just roll a d6, and higher rolls favor you and lower rolls do not. It's not a stat.
I rolled a 6.
I rolled a 1.
Oh my.
I rolled a 4.
Okay, well, 4 and up, you're okay. But yeah, Clancy, the atmosphere is just, it's just sort of spiritually oppressive, and just brings you down a little bit. Well, other than that, the biggest things you see, the biggest bullet points, there's a ruined triangular-shaped plaza up ahead. It has 3 giant statues of these bulbous-headed alien knights. And the names on their podiums, on the base of these huge statues have been scratched out and defaced. But those are at each point, statues of this ruined plaza. When I say ruined, I mean it's collapsed, into a yawning triangular sinkhole. And there are weird amber and lime-colored power conduits, that look like, still glowing in the dim darkness down in there deep. Beyond that, though, the next big thing you can see, the next big landmark, is a spindly tower with a coat of arms emblazoned on it. And I'm going to put you on the spot, Goonie. And I don't know if Percy Butterworth had a coat of arms. What's the Butterworth coat of arms? What would the Butterworth family crest be, since Percy Butterworth was originally Goonie's character when we played Into the Odd?
Well, He was a butler
Yes, he was.
at one time. So I don't know, like a feather duster or something.
I think it's perfect. It's perfect. The golden feather duster crest of the Butterworth of House Butterworth is clearly inscribed on the side of this spindly tower that is beyond the collapsed plaza. And so if you want to get over to that tower, you don't have to go through the pit or over it, but you kind of got to skate around it, you know what I mean? And it's only about a sidewalk's length of room to walk. But if you're calm and careful and slow, it should be fine. But as you start, even just your movement along the edge, though, it causes this little small avalanches of hexagonal bricks and alarming leaning of posts and things like that. And then suddenly, from behind some chunks of rubble, you're completely surprised by three strange and horrible creatures that leap out. They're pathetic, sniveling hunchbacks, and they're riddled with mutations. Each of them looks different. One of them's got a giant eyeball just on the side of his head, and that's his only eye, so, I mean, he's holding his head sideways to look at you. There's another one that has a vestigial, like, dead twin, still kind of attached to his abdomen, and he holds a great big axe. And then there's one who is horrible, the most horrible, is continually growing and popping blisters all over him. I think you guys just stepped into a Warhammer game here. That's what you did.
It sounds like it.
Yeah. But they surprise you. So you must make a dex save to see if you get to go before them. Each of you individually.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Natural 20s.
All right, there you go. So that makes it easy. You guys will go first. And I think the natural...
Nope. I thought we wanted to roll.
Oh, you're right.
Whoa.
You're
So
right.
I've rolled the two worst things so far that I possibly could.
Yeah, you did roll a terrible roll. In fact, I'm never going to get over here, and that natural 20 is a positive thing, though. You just can't take it out of me
It's
completely.
ingrained.
Yeah, it's ingrained. Natural. Yeah. So you're going to go last after these things go, but before that happens, Lump and Silix can... Yes.
Well, and before all that, I just wanted to clarify. When I failed the previous roll, the luck roll, is that just a malaise, or is that a game effect?
No game effect. Well, you lost 1 point of charisma. Unless you're going to be making a lot of charisma rolls, which we generally don't. Yeah, it's just a malaise, something that affects your personality and oppresses you. And I guess if you did need to make a charisma roll, it might matter a little bit. But we'll see if that... see if you need to do that as time goes on. But for right now, Lump, what do you do when you see these horrible things leap out at you?
Get him, Dump. He's going to release his bug monkey.
All right, Bug Monkey rushes in. And which one's the attack? The guy with the giant eyeball, or the one with the vestigial dead twin, or the continually growing and popping blisters?
He's going to go with the total recall dead...
Yeah. What's that dude's name? Quattro or something? I don't remember that.
That sounds
close.
close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I thought you were going to say Susie Quattro.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Susie Quattro attached to the guy's stomach in Total Recall. That would be weird. Okay. So, yeah, go ahead and roll damage as your bug monkey creature slices into the vestigial dead twin man.
4 damage.
Okay, that's nice. Yeah. In fact, let's give him a name. Let's call him Hoppy. I don't know why. Okay.
Wait, was that the blister guy?
No.
Oh, okay, because that would have been really gross.
Okay, there's going to be Hoppy. Poppy will be the blister guy.
Yeah.
And the giant eyeball guy will be... I don't know.
Sloppy?
Sloppy. Okay. So, yeah, Hoppy is hit very hard by the monkey. And now what do you do, Lump, as a person? As yourself.
I will charge in... I'm going to go with the blisters guy this time.
Go for Poppy.
Poppy, yeah.
Yeah, blisters continually growing and popping.
And I'm going to attack with my Prong of War. Ooh, that's 8 damage.
Oh my goodness! You're never gonna guess what he's got to save for.
I guessed that.
He's got to save for critical. He normally had a strength of 12, so he's got to roll 10 or less to avoid. I got a dock die. Let me try that again. He got a 15 instead of that docked almost 3, which kind of wish he'd gotten. But he does pop. His entire body pops when he takes critical damage, and anyone within melee range of him is splattered with his yellowy, bilious, scab,
Pus.
Pus juice and whatnot. And you don't need to make a roll or anything, but it is gross.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, you got some in your mouth, and I mean, it's bad.
If this was Warhammer, I'd definitely get some kind of disease from that and probably die.
You get
Nurgle rot or something.
Poppy's rot. It's a Poppy's rot. Yeah.
Poppy's rot.
Yeah.
That sounds like a candy that you don't want.
Yeah. Sounds like a venereal disease. Oh, you got the Poppy's rot in Shanghai. Yeah. Well, we'll have to remember all these great details. But in the meantime, Silix, what do you do as now the bug monkey creature's attacking Hoppy with the dead twin, and Poppy is popped. And so there's the giant eyeball guy still looking sideways at you because the giant eyeball's on the side of his head.
All right.
And
I'm going to use the shotgun.
okay, here comes that noble shotgun.
That's too bad. I only rolled 2.
Well, you know what? Every little bit helps. And again, this is not like a high HP system, as you
That's
guys
true.
are painfully aware. So yeah, and then they go before Clancy can. Luckily, Poppy won't be doing anything, but Hoppy takes that axe he had and swings it at your little bug monkey and does 7 hit points of damage to your 7 hit HP hit protection to your bug monkey creature. And I don't know if that's more HP than it has.
It has 6
Oh, no.
HP.
So unless his strength is otherwise stated, it's 10, and unless it says something else. So
Okay.
he has to roll 9 or less to avoid critical damage. Your poor little bug monkey creature.
No.
Oh no, dump. Well, don't worry. You can still save him. You just have to survive this fight and give him proper medical care as best you can. And then our boy Sloppy with the giant eyeball, who's just been hit with your noble shotgun. He also has an axe, but he just throws it at you. Silix, and but it does 3 points of damage to you. Guys, don't forget about your armor too. You all have a little bit, and that's going to be their turn. And now Clancy will bring up the rear.
Finally, I get to do something. I'm not going to count that was a terrible roll. The dice were just falling.
Yeah,
Trying to pick it up.
Yes, of course.
Doesn't count. Fuck! God damn it. So I went to go try to pick the die up, right? And it fell off the little elevated place. It went and rolled a 4, and I was like, no, I'm not going to take that. I'm going to roll, and I got a 1.
Yeah.
Damn.
So I made it worse. Yeah, good job, me.
That's true, but and you were attacking who? You got your vestigial
Sloppy.
Yeah, Sloppy. Okay, all right, you guys, you're wearing Sloppy down for sure. He's teetering, and we're gonna go back to the top of the realm with Lump.
He's lump.
He's Lump.
Lump. He's lump.
His monkey's dead.
That's just me. Okay, I rolled the wrong thing. I just got to roll for damage for my Prong of War on Sloppy. Oh wait,
Sloppy's still up. Yeah.
But I had attacked.
Well, you attacked your Poppy
Oh
originally.
yeah, you attacked Poppy originally. Yeah.
And then he popped, and then
Hoppy and Sloppy are both right there, though.
I'm gonna go with Hoppy because he
Okay.
hurt Dump. Yeah.
Okay, that's true. You gotta get revenge. And he dumps Lion there at his feet.
Wow, and once again I rolled an 8 for damage.
Well, that's great because he had 1 hit point left. So he has to get a 5 or less to avoid critical damage. And you never guessed, but he did get a 2. So he's up, but,
All right.
next time you hit him, his strength is 5. And as we know in this game, your strength are your real hit points. Your HP are just a buffer. And our poor friend Dump won't be doing anything other than lying there bleeding to death. And Silix, what do you do?
I will go with the pump action again.
Okay, I assume on Sloppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I rolled a 1.
Well, Sloppy also had 1 hit point left, so he's still up, but he suffers a terrible scar. Not like he's not already... Well, his skull's completely fractured, actually. I mean, he's not dead yet, but his skull's fractured. And his charisma went up somehow, though, after that, by 1 point. So there's a nice scar for you. But yeah, if he wasn't already bad enough, with the giant eyeball coming out of the side of his head. Anyway, you hurt him pretty badly. And then he is going to decide whether he's going to turn around and run. He's going to try to run away. But moving at a high-speed run like this, as he's trying to do it, flat out tearing, it's very possible he's just going to fall into, the big triangular crevasse that's nearby. And he does. And you hear a crying off in the distance. Meanwhile, I think that Hoppy, though grievously wounded, also is going to try to turn and run. And he does not suffer that fate, though. So if Clancy wants to take a shot at him as he runs away...
Well, Clancy is not opposed to such an idea, and he will roll a 4 that time.
All right. And boom. And so he would have to roll a 1 on a D. No, he does not. And he also... The force of it also, he kind of skitters and scatters off into the great triangular crevasse that yawns between these huge alien statues. And they're gone, but your immediate problem is, you're going to have to go give some stabilizing care. You don't have to roll anything to your little monkey friend. This happened to you earlier, in the last adventure as well. So, you can live through it, but he's going to be hurt for a while. Might not want to send him into combat for a while. Let him stay in his little cage. And after that, boy, you haven't had time to even catch your breath since we started this episode. So now there's a moment as you...
we'll take a short rest.
Take a short rest sounds like a good idea. Mm-hmm. And then it's pretty clear, though, where the treasure of Percy Butterworth would be. It's got to be on this spindly tower with the feathered duster crest. Now, it's also not of the same type of architecture as the rest of this empty city. This is a place he came, and built his tower to stow away his arcana, or so they think. So Ladia Hope thinks. So, let's see if you can get it. There's certainly doesn't look like there's any barrier to getting you in. As you do approach, however, off in the distance, you hear the scuttling and running of figures. They're not really running towards you. They're like behind buildings or, going down parallel streets as far as you can tell. You can hear them, and every now and then you just get the feeling someone's looking at you. But you've probably scared the shit out of any degenerates that are lurking around after what happened especially after what happened to Poppy. And Poppy was one of the tough ones, too, so they all respected him. But it could be them, it could be white raiders or white tweakers or anything else. But you're not alone in this place. However, there's that spindly tower, and this has an irregularly shaped doorway. It's not quite a rectangle, but it's yawning open. And it's actually been smashed, the door itself. So someone's been in here. And there's just a large room inside. It's roughly spherical. And there's a 4-foot-high dais in the middle of the floor. And then there's this huge arrow on the opposite wall. It's inlaid with ivory or something on the wall, and it's pointing upwards, but there's no stairs at all. And on the dais, you can see there's some words transcribed. If you go up and look at it, it says, it has a golden head. It has a golden tail, but it has no body. What is it?
Well, it sounds like one of those beers from Bastion, those horrible, nasty ones. It's got a bit of head and a bit of a tail, but no body to it. Well, I think that's a horrible answer, though. Sorry.
Well,
Answers will be declaimed in a loud, clear voice, and that wasn't, so I won't count that.
well,
I feel like Jeopardy music should be playing in the background while we think about this.
can we call, use a lifeline to
Right.
call a friend?
I'd like to call a friend, please.
No, you can just look at it again. Otherwise, everything's completely quiet in here, and it just says it has a golden head. It has a golden tail, but it has no body. What is it? Well, that Percy Butterworth thinks he's clever, apparently, you know. There's some kind of...
Butter. No, that's not. That's not my final answer.
Yeah, you guys take your time. I'll just edit it if you're sitting here for the next 37 minutes trying to figure it out.
Okay.
We might have
good.
to.
Good, because I feel like I can figure it out, but it's gonna take me.
I'm going to need to sleep on it.
It's a
overnight.
dope. It's going to be a dope answer, you know. It's just...
Right.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you a clue, even though I shouldn't. You know, you're here for a reason, and that's ultimately that you're in debt. This is something that might be able to help you with debt.
Oh, a gold coin.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's a coin. You know.
It's got a head and a tail. And,
Right.
Well, when you say that, as soon as you say coin, the dais that was inscribed on just rises up out of the floor, and in the ceiling high above you there's a sphincter opening, and the dais begins to rise up towards you. I mean, you're not on or you're near the dais. You want to grab onto it and ride it up, or that's the only other option out of here. And then there's that huge up arrow on the wall. It couldn't get more obvious.
Yes, I want to.
Okay, well,
Yep.
You're close enough. You don't have to make a dex save or anything to grab it, but you can climb. There's just enough room, you know, for the three of you to stand up here closely. And it rises higher and higher and higher as that sphincter opening in the ceiling gets closer and closer and closer. And it goes through that sphincter into a slightly smaller, roughly spherical room. And it shifts to the left so that the sphincter's still open, right? And then it lands. The dais does. And there's a slightly smaller dais in this room as well. And another up arrow inlaid on the wall. And as you might expect, when you look at that next dais, it says, "What is so fragile, even speaking its name would break it."
What is so fragile, even speaking its name,
Yeah.
may what? Destroy it?
Break it, yeah.
Break it. Okay.
Would break it. What is so fragile, even speaking its name would break it.
So I was going to say silence. It breaks the.
You're right.
It breaks the silence.
You're right. You're correct. And
right.
so, again, as you might expect, even that smaller dais starts to rise up. And you can all barely get on. I mean, there's barely enough room for you all.
I'm going to get on the dais, on the dais.
On the
on
dais.
the dais.
On the dais, on the dais.
Yeah. Again, there are copyright implications. But, well, you're all on it together, but you are crowded on. I mean, your asses to elbows on this thing. And
Butts to butts.
That's right. And it rises up through another sphincter in this ceiling, in this great tower. into a much smaller room with another even smaller dais. And it too is that as this rises up in the room, it moves to the left. So you can look down now and see, all the way to the bottom through the sphincter holes. They don't block them. And there's another smaller dais. And there is, as you would expect, a riddle transcribed on it. What first must you give me in order to keep it?
Oh, a secret.
Close, but no cigar.
No,
says a
because then I
voice.
wouldn't have kept it. Oh, shit.
Respect. Yeah.
A naughty spanking. Wait.
You're right, ding. No.
Say it again.
What first must you give me in order to keep it?
And just for the record, we're not Googling this shit or anything. we're doing this like straight up legit. So if we seem like dumbasses, it's because we're not cheating.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I'm just going to be frank too. I probably edited out some, riddle silence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It hadn't been too bad. But like listeners are listening to this and they're thinking, they're screaming the answer at their.
No, they're looking up. They're typing on
That's right,
Chat
they're
GPS or whatever. Chat GPT.
Chat GPS. Can you find me directions to?
We'll have to have it on as a guest someday.
So I just wanted to make sure. I don't know if you heard my answer earlier.
No.
Well, I said respect, but I think that's wrong. So
I don't respect your
I take
answer.
that back. Okay.
Percy Butterworth did not respect your answer.
What first must you give me in order to keep it?
Yeah.
But the first thing you said was close. The first answer was close.
Yeah, well, I don't remember what he said. Secret. No, he's really not close. I mean, it's kind of close. But
My dick.
it sounds like you need another clue. Gee, if only you could think of the right blank. There's a blank you're looking for. You just don't know what it
Droid.
is.
Answer?
Secret was respect was a good guess. But I'm afraid, you guessed wrong. Because we could sit there for the next 45 minutes. And, however, when that happens, glass canister falls out of the ceiling and breaks on the floor. Everybody make a strength test as gas comes out of the canister. And make a strength save, that is. So your strength or less.
Ooh, I rolled a 1.
Nice.
And I rolled a 6.
That's nice, too.
Yes.
How about Clancy?
Almost certainly. Oh shit. Wait. Does on it succeed?
On it counts, yeah.
I rolled a 6 and I needed a 6.
That's great.
I'm gonna also roll for Dump since he's
He should.
can't forget about him, and he's got a lowered strength.
Yeah, he
so-
does.
Oh no, he rolled 1 over.
Well,
It would have gotten it, but
it's hard to tell at first, and I kind of wish one of you hadn't gotten it because it would have been funny. But you just see, he's like slow. He looks first. You think he's dying, but he looks up at you and he's just real slow. And then when he chatters to you, he and you realize that had you succumbed to the gas, that you would be, completely slowed down, and you would even have to but you won't have to worry about that. However, you look up frustrated at the sphincter hole up above you and realize this dais is not going anywhere, and I got no good plan to get you up that high. So I don't know, maybe if you leave and come back in, it resets. I don't know.
how high up is the sphincter?
Well, at this point the rooms are getting smaller as they go up. Like the ceilings were much higher down below. They're getting smaller, in terms of their diameter and also in their ceiling. But I'd say it's about 30 feet. I mean, it's enough to be a problem. That's higher than it seems when you're looking up at it.
But we do have, like, basic things like rope and stuff.
You
right?
do. Well, maybe. Of course, the sphincter hole's closed. It's like attaching it up there. I don't know. You could think of something, I'm sure.
Does anyone have any poles, long poles that we can penetrate the sphincter with?
I'm afraid not. I've got scissors, a bag of stuffing, a bunch of useless stuff. Really, is all I've got.
I've got this ads like help climb up there, but to get through the sphincter, I don't know how to do that.
Those stupid monkey things stole my steel rope.
They did. They did.
They did.
I can see the ads. They climb up there, maybe. That'd be...
Speaking of monkeys, though, I mean, Dump is in a pretty bad situation right now, but he might be able to climb up there very, very slowly and try to open the...
Frankly, I think if anyone in the group is likely to be able to climb this, it would be the little monkey rather than any of us, because I don't have any skills for that shit.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time a monkey's climbed a wall in this series. And I think maybe in honor of that, or a throwback to that, yeah, but it's maddening watching him climb up the wall in slow motion.
Come on, Dump, pick it up.
It's
Come
like,
on now.
You know, and he's not only slow, but he's like jerky and weird. It looks like he's been stop motion animated by Ray Harryhausen as he climbs up the wall. And then he has to kind of swing out, but he does swing out and tap the sphincter, and that opens easy. Once he
Just give a little tap, that's all you need.
gives a little tap on the sphincter, and there's gapes. But but the dais doesn't rise up. You know, the rest of you are still stuck down on the floor. But you do have normal rope. I guess you could, you know,
If we tie the adze to the end of the rope, maybe it could, like a grappling
throw
hook.
it up there. Yeah, go for it. Go for it. I think that requires a dex save.
Yeah.
Although, frankly, you know, if you keep at it long enough.
We'll see. I got a 5, so
That's great.
that beats my dex.
Yeah, and I've decided that, you know, the roll wasn't so much to see if you could target it up there, but to see if you could do it safely to where you guys actually can climb and it's not going to fall off. You know, you got it up through there. And luckily, so you guys don't have to make a roll when you climb. I mean, you swing back and forth a little bit. Is nervous here and there. But you finally get up into the room above. And inside, you see the walls are actually huge windows, you know, on all, you know, in all directions, and you can see the expanse of the empty city all around you. You're about at the level of the bulbous heads of those alien knights surrounding the plaza, a block or two away. And an urn sits on a table in the middle of the room, which otherwise seems completely empty.
I wonder if that's old Percy Butterworth in that urn. Well,
It could be.
I want to check out that urn, but I'm not going to pick it up yet. I'm just going to see if there's like a presser plate underneath it or something.
Sure. Take a nice look at it, poke around gently, look real close. It's just sitting on a little table. Nice little tasteful antique table, little three-legged table. And it doesn't seem attached to it. Doesn't seem to be pressure plates. Do you want to open the...
Well, what else? Is anything else of importance in here?
Nothing at all. It's like conspicuously empty.
Okay. No inscriptions on the urn.
No, not at all. It's just a tasteful urn that perhaps Percy would have appreciated.
Yeah, well, I suppose there's only one thing to do. And I guess I'll do the honors of making this what could be a terrible mistake. And I'll open up the urn.
All right, you open the urn, and you look in and you see ashes.
Well, that checks out. Yeah, Well, I'm gonna dip my finger in there and
Okay.
just to make sure it really is ashes, and I'm gonna put a little on my tongue, just a little.
Yeah, it definitely tastes buttery. Yeah. It's a slight butter aftertaste. No, they appear to be what they must be. Percy Butterworth's ashes.
Well, maybe we're supposed to scatter the ashes somewhere. Like, what would Percy Butterworth want? Where would he want his ashes scattered? Yeah,
I mean,
I don't have a clue.
You could just dump them out on the table for all I care. Or scatter them around the room. I don't know.
You're free, Percy. I'm gonna scatter them. I'm gonna throw some up in the air.
Well,
You're free.
when you throw some up in the air, some of it lands in a weird way. It looks like it lands right in the middle of the air, and you realize it's landed on some things that are invisible, right? And you can see it falling off. And when you do that again, and again and again, once you get all the ashes out of the urn, suddenly everything really does become visible, though. And your eyes must get very wide, because there's just this mounds all around the edges of the room in front of those big windows of precious gems and piles of archaic coins and many, many, many pieces of odd bric-a-brac and weird objects that have a faint glow or aura of power about them. They're obviously arcana. Unless this is all an illusion, the treasure is no mystery. And then there's also a metal disc. It's about 8 feet in diameter, and it's leaning against the wall, up against the window. But you notice it's not actually touching the floor or the wall. It's just hovering a little bit. And it's a floating disc of some kind. But there's no time to go through all that or look at it at all, because outside there's a rumbling sound, and through the windows you see the head of one of those giant statues of the bulbous-headed alien knights starting to crack apart like it's shedding stone skin. And inside is maybe a real alien knight. It's just got this huge glowing golden featureless bulb of a head, and as stone falls off its torso, it's wearing this glowing golden glowing flowing robes that seem to run like water, but really they're just got like rainbow like oil slicks scintillating through the robes. And its huge statuary arm moves, and all the stone falls off of it, and it's holding this immense sword like the size of a Greyhound bus. And its blade, it looks like a window, though, into deep space. Like as it moves, you can see like stars passing behind it. And it swings, and it's so big it seems like it's slow motion, but it's not. And he swings and like strikes the tower that you're in, like boom. The rooms you're in, it smashes all the windows, the force of it, all around you. You see some precious gems and things falling out, but most stuff stays in here. And it's a critical moment. That's not a creature you can fight with swords. You can see it seems to be having trouble, though, getting its lower half out of the base where the name has been, wiped out. But that's where you find yourself. Now you've got all this treasure. You've got a weird disc. I don't know what a seasoned gamer would do in this situation.
We gotta gather all these treasure and get the hell out of here. And maybe I'm gonna check out that disc. Only because of some other games we've played.
Yeah, I know, right. Yeah.
So, but I have a suspicion that might be some kind of floating disc.
Disc, yeah. And you get over there, it's exactly what it is. You pull it out from the wall. The window's broken, in fact, so when that happened, it fell, to its side anyway, and it's just hovering, a few feet off the floor. And
all right, everybody pile on the treasure onto the disc, and I don't know if we can fit on there as well, but at least we can move this treasure around.
And in fact, you can't even get all of it, You're just going to have to get what you can get. And as you see that great big arm leaning back with this huge otherworldly blade swinging in again. Almost feels like slow motion. I imagine you're not being too picky. You're grabbing stuff. Armfuls of it, piling as much as
whatever
you
we can get.
Yeah. And there's so many interesting things you wish you could stop and go through at the minute. There's just no time. And so you got it there. You got a huge pile of it tottering on the disc. But just about that time, the blade swings in again. And this time, the walls were made of windows, but obviously they had posts at the edges to keep the ceiling up and the roof above it. But this time, the sword knocks one of those loose. And a bunch of heavy chunks of stuff fall from the ceiling, and the sword swings almost all the way through the room. Everybody make dex saves, or you will be potentially hurt quite badly.
Got a 4.
Oh, you're so lucky that you avoid the enhanced damage of this great otherworldly blade, which would have been a D12. But now you've got a problem because you've got this thing up here, but there's no way this 8-foot diameter disc is going to get back down through those sphincter holes. What do you do?
So the windows are all smashed,
They're
right?
all smashed.
So I think we'd have to, push it out the window, but, hold on to the edge of the disc so we don't fall.
Yeah.
And we can still, hold on to this treasure.
Well, as you see the great arm rearing back for another swing as this glorious alien tries to get his feet out of the base of the statue, you realize you've got about 2 seconds to do your plan if you're going to do it.
Let's do it. I like it. It's a good plan. It's
Yeah,
really good.
Okay.
Lump, you're a genius.
Let's. You can compliment me later. Let's go.
Okay, so you push it out, and you all grab onto the edges, and it falls. But as you expected, the closer it gets to the bottom, it starts to slow down more and more and more and more. And you're holding on to the best of your ability. And when you're about halfway down, though, I assume that Silix, from the way you've described your character in the pictures I've seen, I'm going to assume that you weigh less, than these two guys. And there's 3 of you. I assume you're kind of equidistant around it, but it starts to tilt in their direction. And you guys are like a mouthful of coins and gems as it tilts towards you, stuff starts sliding off. It's a really cool glass elephant fall down a break far below. And, or a glass lion. Yeah, it's a glass lion.
Yeah,
falls down and breaks far below. Boom. And that's not a huge deal, but you lose a little bit of it. But when that happens, you two guys who are on the bottom tilted edge have to make dex saves, or let's make it strength saves just to keep gripping on here. And stuff's hitting you in the face, and you can just see that great swinging sword high above your heads now, smashing into the building. Uh-oh.
I failed.
What about you, Clancy?
Clancy did not fail. Clancy rolled a 13.
Okay, you get a 13. Now suddenly you see Lump. He's right next to you, and he slips. His hands slip off. You got about a split second to try to grab him with one hand and then make another strength step to try to hold on. I'll let you catch him, but if you can make another strength test, you can keep yourself and Lump up there.
I am almost certainly not going to make a strength test, but we shall see. And natural 20.
All right, well, that's terrible. And Lump falls. Oh! Crash! And lands taking 11 points of damage.
Oh.
Far below. Not far from the base of the tower, which is about a block, across the street from the base of the huge statue. And you can see the base is starting to crumble now as you guys land slowly and safely as you see Lump lying there smashed on the ground. And the base of the statue is starting to crumble a little bit as if this thing's possibly going to be able to get its feet out at some point. And how bad are things, Lump?
Well, I made my strength critical roll or whatever.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So you're still up and at 'em, but you're hurting.
Remind me, so I went below hit points, like I'm a -4. How much does my strength go down?
4.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like it starts cutting into your... Yeah.
Well, I rolled a 2, so I still made it.
Okay, and your armor would count, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you still made it, though, and you're... Oh! Of course, your, wind's all knocked out of you as you guys land. And You can see now that you're down here, not even at the level of the head of the glorious alien. You know, it's about as tall as the tower itself. It looks down at you once it's realized what's happened. Again, it's always like, well, moving a little slow, but it raises its sword up as if it's going to slash down. I assume you guys will get the hell out of there. But you know,
Yep.
yeah. And you realize you'll have to push this thing, you know. It's to run and push it like a cart. So you're kind of like hunched over a little bit, you know. You're pushing like an awkwardly sized, you know, technical cart or shopping cart around. And I assume you're just running flat out as fast as you can go. And because you ran right then, you know, the sword smashes into the ground behind you, creating more of an avalanche of hexagon-shaped bricks and whatnot falling down into the pit. You guys run past the pit. Now, you remember earlier when that dude just ran past the pit as fast as he could? Was it Sloppy or Hoppy? I think both of them ended up falling. But make dex saves as you flat-out run with the gaping, yawing pit just a sidewalk's length away from you. Okay, I hope I see all thumbs up here.
No.
Oh, no. And Lump starts to slip and slide. There's an avalanche of little, you know, hexagonal bricks. And he starts to slide and fall. You guys, one of you has to make strength save. At least one of you, to be able to grab him.
Well, I can try, but my strength is really fucking low, and I rolled a 14, so that's not going to do it.
You know, you try to grab him, and you can't, and what happens?
I rolled a 19.
Oh, no, you rolled a 19. You look up in horror. You know, it's slow motion. You're sliding down, and, you know, their hands are reaching out to you, Lump. And,
Can I toss him, like, hold on to one end of the whip?
oh, does you have a whip? That's about the only thing that would have worked. Okay.
I have a stuffed squid. I was thinking about using it in a similar manner, but I think the whip is probably longer.
I think the whip is perfect, and I think you should whip out at him very quickly.
Whip it out.
And you don't have to roll to hit him. Go ahead and roll the damage, though, as it wraps around his arm. You should be able to pull you up, but it's going to cause damage, and it could be bad because you're already, you know.
Yeah.
Find one of my notoriously low rolling.
Yeah, hopefully it'll be one of your...
4.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
So now he must... now you've got him. He's not going to fall down into the pit. If I was going to kill him, I was totally going to do it if he fell. I was going to have him land on one of those power conduits and fry. But how'd that save go?
Oh.
Your strength is now even 4 lower than it was.
Yeah.
I hope it's not 0.
No.
Okay.
I took
Don't forget your armor.
the
No,
armor.
that's right.
My strength is at 4.
Okay.
And I will attempt to make a strength check. No, I don't.
Okay. Well, when you pull him up out, he's out of it. You know what I mean? He's going to need he's going to need a rest. Like a nice long rest. Hopefully, maybe you can get him back and get him some more plankton drank. You know, at Plankton Downs, which was only about an hour's walk away, if you recall. If you can get to that forest line, but you hear more great groaning crumbles of rock. Now, there's some reason why this glorious alien seems stuck in its base. Maybe it has something to do with the name being defaced. You're not sure. But you're not convinced it's going to stay stuck forever. So I imagine you won't take in any more sights and sounds of the...
No. GTFO.
Yeah. And you got to, for now, you got to, drape Lump over the pile of treasure, you know. And you're and get the hell out. And you guys push it as fast as you can. I mean, we'll keep looking over your shoulder, the glorious alien, I imagine, which you can see even past the outskirts. And I imagine that you go as quickly as you can back towards Plankton Downs. Now, when you get there, we'll kind of montage this out. You run in slow motion, and I imagine you go straight back to that healer to save your friend, you know. But she's able to stabilize him to where he won't die. But, it takes them a while to make their plankton drank. And you don't know how long you've got before something terrible happens. So do you want to stop here and wait and ask them to brew you some plankton drank, or do you want to get stabilized, and go. That takes about 15 minutes. If you want the plankton drink, you'll be here for a few hours.
Well, that thing is... it's only a matter of time before it gets loose, probably.
Do you tell the people that? Now, they've seen you come in with, loaded with treasure. That much you couldn't hide. They're all eyeballs are wise. Everybody stopped working in the plankton vats, and the pools. They've come out to stare. No one's trying to take it from you. They're slack-jawed. But do you tell the people that a glorious alien may be on the way?
We probably should mention big giant alien coming after us.
Probably be the right thing to do, yeah.
Okay. I was afraid this would happen, says Explainia. If you remember, she's the one that explained everything to you. I can't believe this. I told you the place was cursed. It's a terrible curse. We're going to pay the price for your treasure.
Well, we can give it a little trinkets or something.
Well, you'd better. But there's no time.
Fair.
There's no time for plankton drink for you. We have a contingency plan just in case. And everybody, contingency plan alpha. She snaps her fingers and they begin running. God only knows what they're going to do. Go hide in ditches somewhere. I don't know. They're beginning. They're just like we practiced in the emergency preparedness drill. She cries out. And you're stabilized. You're not going to die. But
during that 15 minutes, does that count also as a short rest, or do I need a separate short rest?
No, you guys all had a short rest during that time.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, really, you just need a few moments. You just need to get out of the fight you're in, essentially, to have a short rest.
Catch your breath.
Yeah, that's the way it's originally described in Into the Odd. Catch your breath and get a drink of water. Maybe replenish your buffer zone. Let your little red bar go back up. You don't want it to dip down into your yellow bar. Then you're in trouble. But this is just your red bar. That should be like a candy bar. They say, red bar,
Mm-hmm.
So I looked up the riddle while we were afterwards.
Well, I figured it out as soon as we fell down the thing. But
Really?
Me too. Oh, me too.
yeah,
Well, what is it?
I assumed it was. Oh! You think promise? Okay. Well, I thought.
Yeah. Well, I googled it.
Well, I didn't. So maybe my answer is wrong.
I cheated, but it was like after it already counted. So
as soon as we failed, I started thinking about it. I was like, oh fuck, it's I'll give you my word, right?
Technically, it's word.
That yeah.
I probably would have accepted promise. That's what's like. You're looking for a certain word. It's a word. You can't.
And I almost said that, but I was like, I don't want him to take that as a gift.
I was actually worried that the riddles would be too easy. I imagine you don't want to linger around Plankton Downs, though. In fact, there's no point in it now that they're all hurrying about getting ready for impending
I did
doom.
want to, as we're leaving, I think it's only fair if we just take a few some of the smaller arcana, kind of like toss them out a little just for their assistance. We've got so much. They're not... The laddie or whatever her name is not going to miss a few.
No, she certainly won't miss a few. And, they're taken with ill grace, but they're taken, by the people. But I imagine you get going. Now, there's no, looming giant on the horizon yet, but just as you're starting to get out of there, you can almost sense in the distance this boom, boom. But at this point, you're not far from the edge of the plateau. If you'll recall, this is up on a plateau that you had to climb up out of the rainbow-colored sands of the desert or the acid wastes, right? And so you slide down the hill, I guess, get out onto the sands and keep going, I imagine, as fast as you can. But you've maybe gone for about 15 minutes when up ahead there's a glint in the northern horizon, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, like a glint of light. And suddenly this golden sky barge comes looming into view. Now, you had heard that some people were waiting for a sky barge when you were at the wall, and the sky barge was coming later, but maybe it came sooner than anyone thought. And this thing is zooming in right towards you. I mean, you're the only things on the horizon right now, except for some patches of murder cacti here and there. But Just as I say, this golden aerial barge swoops down. I guess kind of looks like a sail barge from Return of the Jedi, only this one, it's covered with an excess of Baroque decor, such as fat little naked baby cherubs and winged skulls, and there's about a half dozen wicked-looking men lining the rails of it. They've got all of them extravagant facial hair. They have that much in common, and evil grins. They're carrying, they've got electric repeating rifles with them, and it slows as it approaches, and a pale man with his broad-brimmed hat and a little trim mustache yells down. He says, "I'm afraid that what was once yours is now mine." And it's Ronan Friendly. I mean, you recognize him from his broadcast and his books and everything else.
Talking about copyright.
Bring it,
You're gonna
Ronan.
You're gonna give mercenaries a bad name. There's a more subtle copyright violation. But yes, that's exactly where I got that. Too bad you don't speak Jovito. But he says, "I tell you what, just walk away from the disc, and maybe, just maybe, my boys won't have to hurt you. It is a long walk back to Bastion, but you look able-bodied enough for me. Except maybe for that ugly lump right there."
I'm going to shoot him with my weird gun.
Okay, and you do.
Oh, right into it. Okay.
Yeah, and also you got like
no negotiation.
You also have a giant random pile of arcana here that this might be a good time to randomly grab shit and wave it around and see what happens.
It's true.
But meanwhile, you do now hear that on the horizon again. After it was delayed probably while smashing Plankton Downs, you can hear the boom, boom, and feel it in the sand. So you don't know how long you've got. But yeah, you shoot him. You shoot at Ronan Friendly.
I only rolled 2, but I was using my weird gun, so it ignores armor.
Okay, that's good. He goes, "Ah!" and falls back onto the deck. Now you don't have a line of sight on him, right? Because you're on the ground below him. And what do you do, Lump?
I'm going to grab random arcana.
Okay. And we say random, it literally means I'm not having you guys roll. To save time, I'm doing the blind finger drop on the list.
Okay.
And that's what it's going to be. And so you grab a scroll, right? And I imagine you open the scroll. And you open it up, and you look at it, and there's some random words on them. You want to read them?
Yep.
Okay. Well, you start reading the words, it has to lose fast, not to be. And suddenly one of those guys up on the railing above you off this sky barge, he starts going, huh, huh. He starts shaking and dancing around. He's like, it's hot, 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 ah. Suddenly his eyeballs just pop out, and steam starts coming out of rifts in his skin. You realize his blood has all just boiled off, and then the scroll disintegrates in your hands. But now there's only 5 guys up there with electric repeating rifles. Okay, and what do you do, Clancy?
Well, taking a random thing out of this pile of arcana and waggling it sounds like a mighty stupid and fun thing to do.
Yes, it does, doesn't it? Oh my God, no. Okay.
If you say no, I say yes.
I know. I'm getting excited.
Well, actually, you feel like, oh man, if only you could touch something with this. You feel like if you could touch a person or that boat or something, the boat, the sky barge or something, if you could touch with it, something would probably happen.
Is it throwing range? Can I?
Yeah, you can certainly wing it, Do you want to try to throw it at one of the people, or do you want to try to throw it at the sky barge itself?
I think it would be funnier. Obviously, I have no idea what's going to potentially happen, but I think it'd be a lot funnier to wing it at the sky barge.
Well, and that's much easier to hit, too. You wing it up there, boom, and you hit it, and suddenly the whole thing shrinks. I mean, the people on it are still big, but they fall because the thing... You see, Ronan Friendly slips off. He actually doesn't ever slip off. He rides it down like a little toy sky barge, he's straddling the edges. The other guys fall off and cry out as they hit the ground, taking various degrees of damage that I am now rolling. Hang on. One of those guys ain't gonna make it. One of them here, neck pop. There's 4 of them left, and they fall to the ground. And it's their turn, and they all, the 4 that are left, stand up and fire their repeating guns into you. Now they're just spraying, all 4 of them. So you make a dex save to not get hit. The rainbow-colored sand is like it looks like it's squibbed all around you. Sand's
All of us?
Yeah, everybody.
Made it.
All right, that's good.
3. Easy.
Don't get hit. Good.
My low rolling 20 just rolled a nat 20.
Oh no. Well, I'm afraid you. Oh, it's the worst thing. I could have rolled 8 points of damage, Silix, from one of the nasty repeating bullets. And there's 4 of these guys in front of you. They all look like they're pretty hurt, though. And Ronan Friendly is reaching into his pocket to get something. He's reaching into his pack. He's searching in his pack this round, is what he's doing. And now it's your guys' turn again. And I can't remember who I started with last time, but there's really no order anyway. But I think I'll go with Lump. I think I've been consistent with that.
Yeah.
Not that he should always get to go first.
I think Lynn had fired first, and then after that I went...
That's true.
I will grab another piece of Arcana.
All right, so... And I look over and I see... hey, guess what? Your hands all of a sudden start to glow, and they're humming, actually. So far, there's nothing obvious that happens. But we'll see. Maybe something else needs to happen to trigger whatever is going to happen next. Or maybe it's just a glowing and humming hands.
I hope not.
Little sun-blessed hands.
Humming hand.
Yeah. We'll find out. Remember, you've got those. Okay, so what do you do, Silix?
So, as much fun as I want to get in on waving random things, I do have a piece of Arcana that I know what it does.
Okay.
So I'm going to use that.
All right.
I'm going to use my ring up if I don't
That's
mind.
a great idea. And you hold up. Remember, it flashes when you want to use it. And we roll for all these guys. And 2 of those guys do just fine. One of them blinks and looks very confused for a second, and so does the other one. And oh my God! Wouldn't you know it? But Roland Friendly just made the old natural 20 himself. The unlucky bastard. And he looks up very confused, especially at the tiny sky barge that he is riding on. And he sees all you guys, but you're all looking at him, obviously, and his eyeballs go wider and wider and wider. He looks up at and behind you guys. And anyone who turns back and see that now, stalking over the horizon, still a bit away, is the glorious alien. That big bulbous glowing head he has really catches the sun. But Clancy still gets to go.
Well, Clancy, I think, would like to take a shot at Mr. Ronan Friendly.
Okay. Yeah, Ronan Friendly, he's very confused. He just forgot the last, 2 weeks.
And, wow. Well, Clancy rolls 7 points of damage.
Oh, my. Well, Ronan Friendly, who already took 2 points of damage, falls back. You knock him off the little, golden sky barge he's fallen on. And Ronan Friendly must. Ronan Friendly will die. The bullet just goes right through him. Boom. His overlarge hat falls off. He's lying in the sand, spitting up blood. And the 2 guys, now it's their turn, and the 2 guys who were also befuddled, they are also looking behind you at the glorious alien. They absolutely lose. They're completely unmanned. They drop their rifles and they run. They just run off into the desert as fast as they can. It's hard to run in the desert. There's all the sand, so it's kind of comical. The other 2, I think they would also probably run. In fact, they're good henchmen. They're going to run back towards Ronan Friendly is what they're going to do. And they get to him, and they're look like they're going to try to drag him out of here, and help him and save him later so he doesn't die. But it's now your turn again. And So, Lump, what do you want to do? You look like you're quivering with anticipation.
Well, I don't know. I'm going to wave my hands around and see if that does anything.
Okay, you wave your hands around, and it does nothing. And what you realize is that if anyone had attacked you, that they would have taken the damage instead of you, as long as you, have these glowing hands.
I'm going to taunt them so they might attack me.
Okay. One of them says, "You son of a bitch, I'll go!" And he goes ahead and fires at you.
Bring it on!
No point in finding that without letting us use it, right? And he does 4 points of damage to himself, and that puts him to -3. Because remember, they already got hurt when they fell out of the thing in the first place. And he rolls a 16 and succumbs to critical damage. And now there's just the one left who was over there with him, and he keeps his rifle, but he runs off. And then he runs about 3 feet, and then he turns around and gets the other guy's rifle, and then he turns around and keeps running. And says, "So long, Mr. Friendly!" And you see blood spitting out from Ron Friendly as he lies in the sand. So, what now?
Well,
Ron?
we ought to maybe put Ronan Friendly out of his misery.
Yeah, he probably needs to get...
I'd like to stick a fork in him.
See if he's done.
Oh, I could put tentacles all over its body.
No, don't.
So delightful.
Don't you do it. And what are you guys all standing over him now, looking at him as he looks up at you? "I almost got you, but now I guess that big bloody bastard who's following you will get my revenge for me." As he continues to spit up blood.
Yeah, I think we should all just lay into him like a scene in Pulp Fiction where the dude tries to shoot at them and then they all just shoot back at him.
Yeah, well, and so, his body jerks. Blam, 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 blam. And by the time you're done with that, that thing's still coming. And at this point, you've been stationary for a while. You're not, outrunning it all the way across the desert. Maybe there's something you've already found that could help you against a giant, glorious alien.
Well, let's see what we got here.
Oh, I got the thing that makes things much smaller.
Do you want to try to grab it and run up? It'll be a risk for you. You'll have to run up close, to get with throwing distance. He's going to seem pretty huge above you, but I think it's a great plan.
Well, how much did the airship thingy shrink?
Well, it shrank from about the size of Jabba's sky barge to a hobby horse.
So, like a Lego sky barge, basically.
Yeah. I mean, it was just enough for, Ronan Friendly to comically straddle it, like a little, coin-operated bucking bronco at the supermarket.
Yeah, it feels like that's probably a good enough, shrink ratio to...
Good enough shrinkage.
To justify... So, yeah, I'm happy to try that.
All right. Well, do you guys want to run up with him and do this together, or you want to send him up by himself to confront the great thing?
Now let's go.
Okay.
Can we
drag the disc with us?
Well, we might want to leave that here. I don't know. I was going to say, can I ride the little
Yes.
little barge like a little pony?
Yes. You put your big war prong out, like a jousting. Yeah. So you guys rush up at the thing, but I imagine you don't go all the way up to it to attack it. Just close enough to where Clancy thinks he can just beam this little bit of arcana at him. And you do, and just as suspected, the thing, you almost can't believe your luck, but those great oily, rainbowy robes get smaller and smaller, and that great big bulbous head gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and the sword itself gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller until now it's about the size of like a hobbit in front of you, and it turns around and it stops. It looks at his body and looks up at these three giants standing over him, and the glorious alien turns tail and flees very, very quickly away from
glorious alien.
Yeah. Do you want to let the glorious alien make his way back to lick his wounds and fight
Well, you
another
might
day.
get bigger again, and you try to come find us or something. I don't think we should.
Yeah, I want to try to
agree.
ride, catch up to him on my
Write him down.
little barge and fork him.
Okay, go for it. You right up. Yeah, and because you're speeding at him at a great speed, you may roll enhanced damage with the D12.
Mounted.
Yeah. So you can roll a D12 for the damage.
Oh, shoot, that's only a 2.
Well, everybody a little bit helps, and boom, he stumbles forward a little bit, and keeps running though. And well, you know what? I mean, you're right up there by him. He's not a complete coward. He is a glorious alien. He's just little. He's gonna take a swipe at you with his small, but it no longer has that great big awesome enhanced damage. In fact, I'm gonna give it impaired damage. To use impaired damage, does 2 points back to you with his sword. But at this point, if you guys all want to blam, 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 blam him, I think we can take that as red. He's not. He's just going to try to keep running.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I think he gets blammed.
He gets blammed, and his great big golden glowing bulbous head, it explodes, and suddenly there's this bright, blinding flash of light that goes all through the desert. You know what I mean? Like the instant the atomic bomb went off, right? Just, man, there's no explosion or anything. But it's like that must be his soul escaping or something, and the whole body just droops to the ground like it was just an outfit, or a suit, and it's this glowing light ascending into the sky, like maybe he was just made of light or something in the first place. But these are mysteries you don't need to solve right now, because I assume that you'll want to get back to Bastion and pay off associated reanimators so they don't come and get you. And we're not going to role play out the rest of that journey. We assume that you return to Bastion and you make good on your deal with Lodge of Hope and you pay off associated reanimators. And that's it for this series. And so we thank Chris McDowell for the game, and Ezra Clavery and Luke Gearing and Andrew Walter.
And I gonna have to insist on a post-credit scene.
Okay. And what's your post-credit scene? As the credits roll for a while and half the people leave the theater, the people who stuck it out see what?
So we're all around a table. I don't know where at, but
I think I know what you're going to do.
Somewhere in
Yeah.
Bastion, presumably.
somewhere in Bastion with a mountain of cinnamon rolls
Yeah.
on the table.
Yeah.
I'm eating it with my giant fork.
War prong.
Yeah, and as Dump has like a little cinnamon roll that he's like chewing on.
Right.
as well,
Oh,
I
Dump's
assume.
okay. Yeah. Baby cinnamon roll. Okay, that's great. Well, that's it for now, and I think the next time you see us, we'll probably be in a much more grim mood.
Yeah.
Ominous.
Hey everyone, if you like this podcast, consider leaving us a good rating and/or review, and subscribe to us wherever you can. We've got a YouTube channel and a Discord server, as well as merchandise available at TeePublic. Find our website at GooniesWorldPodcast.com. Email us at GooniesWorldPodcast@gmail.com. You can find all those links and more at linktree/GooniesWorld. Thanks for listening.